Today, live, we are talking about a young man by the name of Tyre Nichols, or Nichols. I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
I heard about it, read about it.
But you didn't see it.
No.
All right, what are your thoughts on what you heard about and read about? First of all, I watched all the videos. So
Okay.
I know the
Well,
truth.
so then, since you watched, give a rundown of what you observed, your viewpoint.
He was pulled over.
Yep.
He was told to get out of the car.
From the report, he was told multiple things.
The cops were verbally aggressive, escalating the situation,
Per
yelling,
usual.
cussing.
Okay.
Motherfucker. Well, not per usual. Hold on now.
Per usual. Go ahead.
He got out. They told him, put your hands behind your head. Another person told him, lay down. They were trying to get handcuffs on him. And for whatever reason, one of the cops
Had his hand.
had his hand, but someone pepper sprayed the area. But they didn't get Tyre.
Pepper sprayed themselves.
They got themselves.
Yeah.
And their coworkers, right?
All right, keep going.
And so Tyre was like, shit, I got to get up out of here. My mom's house is not far away, but I think these cops are going to kill me. So he ran. That video is really irrelevant because what is relevant, you see in the end, Tyre with his hands handcuffed, getting kicked in the face multiple times like they're kicking a soccer ball or punting a football. Two officers on top of him. One of them's on the side of him, kick him in his head. And that's clear as day. So that right there, he doesn't survive. So this is homicide by police. Live on camera. The EMS shows up, the fire department. They see Tyre handcuffed. He can't sit up straight. Obviously in distress, moaning, making noises. They're just walking around. They're not giving him any aid. The police officers aren't giving him any aid. Eventually he gets to the hospital, but it's too late. And two things about the story stuck out to me. One, I didn't really see it much on social media. I didn't see it a lot, like on Fox 4 News or KNBC or many of the Facebook feeds. Someone told me about this, and I had to Google it, or else I might not have even known. It has since started gaining traction, and now it's more widespread, but it doesn't really fit the agenda that the big media corporations want, which is white cops with a black victim, because all those cops were black. There was one white cop. I seen his hand. He tased the dude.
Yeah, he wasn't fired.
But seeing the videos of him getting kicked and stomped, the white cop wasn't around. It was all black police officers doing that to a black man, and that's not been the main agenda of police brutality. It should be more widespread because this young man lost his life. And I feel very sorry for him and his family. What a terrifying time to go through just for a traffic stop to end up dead. So that's Tyre Nichols in a nutshell. By the way, it only took less than 3 weeks to charge the police officers, all with murder. So moving forward.
The 5 black ones, right?
Yeah.
All right.
But a cop is a cop.
Just didn't take long to charge the 5 black ones.
I don't know if the white one's getting anything, actually.
Didn't take too long to charge the 5 black ones.
But what's weird, the police commissioner for Memphis is a black woman. So I'm not sure why she felt the need to charge the 5 black ones. Obviously, the white one contributed
we'll talk about that later on down the line, and
okay.
I'll pretty much explain why it is
I would like to know
that it's like that.
All right.
But just speaking on this, it's a shame. I mean, this isn't new. This isn't something that, that's made up. This isn't something that we just now noticed or has been going on. This has been going on where, unfortunately, black people are put in predicaments to where the law looks at us as lawless, looks at us as criminals, look at black folks as dangerous, And it just goes to show that even when you try, because from what I read, he's not a bad person. Even when you try to do what you need to do, you pull over, you get out the car, you do everything, they're still aggressive with you. They still look at you as give you conflicting orders. They still, and it happens pretty much, because I think this happened in what's that city? But it happens pretty much often.
Everywhere.
Often.
In every state, probably.
Yeah, and especially in a lot of
lower communities.
And we'll say lower communities.
You can say black communities?
Yeah, black poverty communities.
Because I heard a speech from the lawyer representing that victim's family, and they said that this specific group of police officers were in like a special unit in the police division, and they have had victims in the past complain about aggressiveness and abuse, but they've all been black victims. So that just didn't. And so in my mind, I'm like, you would think it would be the opposite. You would think the white cops are beating up the black people and the black cops are beating up the white people, but that's not the case at all. Most of these victims are black, regardless of the color of the cop. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
That don't make no sense. Bro, you grew up from down the street and now you...
That's not...
You know what I'm saying?
Not everybody did. Not everybody views it like that. Not everybody understands. Like, that's why I say, like, it's deeper than what people give it credit to or want to say or want to acknowledge. Like, even white slave owners had, the house Negro or the Negro who would tell on the other Negroes or, with the other Negroes when they got out of line. He was told to,
What they call them?
Those
Tom?
Uncle Toms.
Is that what they call them?
Uncle Toms. So those still existed. Still exist now.
So you think that's what these black cops are?
You look for validation. Yeah. I mean, honestly. So, that these people are most of the time looked at as bad people, as demonized people, as people who are prone to violence, prone to do aggressive things, have aggressive behaviors. And to me, it's just, I don't want to say it's a system because you got to blame people also, but this is the way we're looked at. Black people are looked at like this all the time, unfortunately. And it's sad. It's very, for people to come up in the same country and put in as much or more work than other people in this country, we're looked at as like we're outcasts of this country.
Right.
And so when you see things like this happen, you're not surprised as black people. It happens. Whether the cop is black, white, Mexican, Chinese.
As a white person, I just assumed the cop's black and the person they're stopping is black. The person they're stopping don't have much to worry about.
We saw that when stuff happened with George Floyd, that there was black cops. It was like he deserved that. It was okay. We know one. So at the same time, we understand that when it comes to black lives, it really doesn't matter to a lot of people, including black people.
You know what? As an idea, it might be received well, it might not be, but you have to have grown up or lived or have family in the community you're serving in.
That don't matter.
Why?
It doesn't.
If you became a cop and you go down to where you grew up and you see your friends and your mom when I'm doing something stupid, you're not going to pull them out, shoot them, and kill them. You're going to have a little bit more understanding where they're coming from, the situation.
You would hope so. That's how it would be. A lot of times back in the day, that's how it would be. But nowadays, no. It's none of that. It's It's none of the community togetherness in the black community. It's none of looking out for each other. It's none of that. The women, the men don't protect each other, and it's sad. It's people still fighting for it, but a lot of people are giving up, and that's the part that really is.
Where you at?
Me, I fight for, you know, African Americans, black people in general to thrive, to be successful, to be better than they were yesterday. So a lot of times I look at stuff like this and, you know, I see the root of all of it and I see the cause and how everything comes together.
What is the root? That's what we need to get to.
So that goes into the next topic that
Okay.
we're going to bring up.
Systematic or?
Is it systematic or is it inherent? Is racism, you know, this thing put in place, or is it developed over the years? Is it instilled in kids and white kids or black kids or other kids of other races?
What's your thoughts on this? You want me to tell you the answer?
What's your thoughts? I'll tell you the answer.
Listen, I'm going to say it's systematic.
Okay.
And the reason is, sure, you know, white pride or black pride, parents can have children and teach them that same value, but most children grow up unconcerned with the skin color of their friends until someone or the media or a school or a teacher or a parent not teaches them, but they can start to pick up on how people are treated differently based on what they look like. And that's systematic. Not only that, how the government is set up statistically, systematic. The harshness of penalties for non-whites, systematic. Probably the lack of representation.
Yeah, there you go.
For police officers, judges, attorneys, do not favor non-white people either. So it's all around not fair playing ground.
I believe so. I do believe also that it's systematic, and then it dwindles down to inherent. So I think that it starts out as this. You know, even looking at our Constitution, we wasn't looked at as, you know, equal or as regular human beings.
So the Constitution said no more slavery.
What?
It didn't say that?
No.
It didn't abolish slavery? That was
The
an amendment.
Constitution did not.
Okay.
So when the laws was wrote and the Constitution was wrote, no, it excluded black people a lot of times in you know, coming down with these constitutional rights. So we was looked at as less than even then. So we was looked at as property, as, you know, such as cattle and other things like that. So we wasn't really looked at as being equal or as of human beings. So that's systematic. So as it works down, we're looked at as aggressive. We're looked at as, you know, violent, threatening. And it just dwindles down. It keeps dwindling down. So then you have the drug laws who imprison us. So now we're inmates. Now we're prisoners. Now we're looked at and labeled as criminals. So then that dwindles down to our rap music. Our rap music is black culture, and it's really just perpetuating the
same cycle, huh?
That this is what it looks like to be black. When in reality, it's not that. That's what it looked like to be black. That's what it looked like to be poor, to be impoverished, to be at the bottom and fighting your way up. And, you know, I dislike that because it's saying that black people are not smart enough to listen to rap music and decipher whether this is reality or whether this is not reality.
Is it happening or not?
It's happening.
Does rap music influence certain groups of people?
No, I don't think it influences. I just think it highlights what's going on. So it's not that, oh, as a black person, I see that and I am that. No, this is what happens in our neighborhoods.
Right.
This is how we're living every day. This is what's going on. So instead of changing the environment, we tend to thrive in it. So a lot of times it makes us less emotional. It makes us harder. It makes us less caring. A lot of times it scars us. It traumatizes us. So you're looking at people who have been traumatized this whole cycle, 400 plus years, and then you're telling us that get over it, or that this is not really happening, or that don't matter. Pull yourself up. And a lot of times, a lot of people don't understand what it's like to pull yourself up or pull yourself out of that situation. And then you have black people also who feel like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And that's not how it is a lot of the times.
What about black people that have not had to experience poverty, that grew up in the burbs, went to a nice school, kind of white, not gangster, don't have the values?
Okay, so from what I see, like they like to say that that's them. They like to highlight that because it looks, it brings a certain light to them. It makes them look cool. It makes them look.
They like to say what? That they're not from the slums, that they're not from the projects?
Kids growing up, they love it. You was one of them kids.
I remember that.
Had a rap album, everything.
Don't mention that on the podcast.
So it's just, like I say, it's highlighted. It's looked at as,
cool.
Yeah, the end thing.
But when it comes down to it, you rather go home to a nice house and food on the table than trying to figure out.
A lot of people notice, like, when these people get rich, come from the hood, come from the bottom, when they get rich, they move out the hood.
Yeah.
Right, because that's not the situation that's ideal that we want to raise our kids in. It's a situation that we're forced in, and a lot of times a lot of people can't get out.
Why can't you just get a better job that pays more and go get a place in a different area of the city? What is stopping that? Maybe that's why I get confused.
A lot of things. So you have education. A lot of people don't have the mental fortitude to put themselves in a position to think that way. So I used to ask this question all the time. If I could do it, why can't you do it? But I'm a lot smarter than other kids. So, especially growing up. So a lot of the trials and tribulations that other kids would have, I wouldn't have. My uncles were, quote unquote, known in the hood. So a lot of things I could do that a lot of kids wouldn't be able to do. I could walk through the neighborhood and feel safe. A lot of kids felt like they wasn't safe or that they had to fit in. They had to join somebody in order to feel like they belong or feel safe. So while I could just go to school and be comfortable with going to school, be comfortable with who I am or what I wanted to do, a lot of black kids in those neighborhoods don't have that comfortability, don't have that okayness.
So it just starts young and it messes up the whole trajectory of what.
As a kid, you have your mom working 8, 10 hours, 12 hours a day. You're at home alone. You have your friends. You have the people around you to influence what you do, what you like, who you're around.
This is why if we voted in Yang, he would have gave everyone $1,000 a month, and that $1,000 a month could get you out the hood.
No, it's not going to get you out
Why?
the hood.
$1,000 extra a month, you could afford in rent.
Because a lot of people in my situation, in the community that I'm from, and it might be in y'all community too, but from what I see in my community, likes to spend their money on things that doesn't.
They're not looking at the big picture.
Value.
Okay.
Right. So over time, I'd rather spend this $1,000 on shoes, clothes, and a Birkin bag instead of investing it, putting it towards my future, saving it, paying off debt.
And go home to a hot house, the AC's broke, and they have money to fix it, stuff like that.
Some people don't have enough in their savings to fix those problems.
But if they get $1,000 a month, they would. But they're going to decide, hey, let me go buy something different that's unhelpful to the quality of my life.
They're going to go buy something that makes me look good on social media.
That's a big problem, man.
It is. Trying to keep up with the Joneses.
That's a whole 2
but
episodes.
It goes back to mentality. So a lot of black people don't understand the value of credit, the value of money, the value of $1, of saving, having something put away. And they're not taught these things, especially in school and education.
They taught, like, emergency funds and save up, 6 months of your salary. They don't teach that in school?
What school?
I mean, I didn't really go to school.
I went to public school in Kansas City metro area. They don't teach that.
Nothing, huh?
Matter of fact, I take that back. Jay Rogers had a finance class, and it was like 3 weeks where you built up a finance and then you budgeted. Right. But that was about it. It was no finance, no economics, no teaching anybody about credit. We didn't have like skills that we learned. Like even as I got older and went to high school, like there was no computer programming classes. Right. We had none of that. We had no.
Other schools did though, huh?
Yeah, if you go outside it's a lot more services. It's a lot more. And I live in one of them school districts where a lot more is provided to kids as long as they're of a financial status.
It's all about the money, huh?
It is.
Back to Tyre, though. So you're saying in order to stop, well, this is probably going to happen again. Undoubtedly, unfortunately.
Until our police system is fixed, corrected, until our funds are looked at as, this goes across the whole thing, until there's no more quotas, until there's no more badges and stuff like that, things that you gain for putting people in jail, then this is going to happen.
But I thought it was deeper. I thought this was, we have to start
Self-hate.
systematically.
It's a lot of self-hate.
I thought we had to start with the system.
It is. But it's a lot of self-hate too. So like, all right, so like take that for example, right? You got these 5 black cops.
Okay.
They know, or they feel like they know, that the criminals that they go after are black people, and they'll get promoted, they'll get higher rank, they'll get.
Oh, you mean so? Hey, you put in 30 black people in jail this month. Here's your promote. That's what you think.
Right. That's the system that's set up in place.
Incentive is.
Yeah. So who do I go after? Do I go after this white man I see might have a collar? He might be the worst person in the world, Jeffrey Dahmer. Do I go after him, or do I go after this black person? He got a T-shirt on, maybe a hat. He looks suspicious.
It's a good point. And it's curious to know why no law professional or attorney or any kind of sociologist hasn't pointed out the fact, hey, let's look at how these police departments are run. Is there any incentive for police officers to put people in jail, regardless of color? Obviously, if you say, hey, you need to put 30 people in jail this month, you're probably going to go to a black neighborhood because you're going to feel more
inclined to see crime.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not regular crime. It's sometimes drugs, sometimes assault, sometimes.
And you're going to feel more justified.
Right. I'm putting away this criminal.
If you go see Ted and Al in the front office, who are both old white men, hey, guys, I put in 30 people from my old neighborhood.
It could be blue-collar crimes, Wall Street.
That rarely happens.
Does it?
And that's not violent. I mean, the police aren't going
because it's not violent. Yeah, you see what you say? As soon as you thought about it, it was like, it's not violent. It's not hurting nobody.
No. The police aren't going there and whooping that old businessman's ass and killing him. That's what I'm saying.
Right. But that's because,
I mean, he going to jail probably. At most, he going to jail.
Is he?
Maybe.
Is he?
Can he buy it out?
Go visit.
Does he got funds?
Yeah. That's another thing, We're put in jail. We don't get bonds.
Remember when Martha Stewart went to jail? She had her own private house jail-ish kind of thing.
Her own private section.
Yeah.
Yeah. She went to a different type of prison. Like, it was like
a getaway.
Yeah, Candyland prison. It was different than going to like Rikers or something like that. So it's a lot of times we just honestly is looked at as okay.
Thinking
it goes like even medical field. So like I work psych, right? So when we get patients in, the black patients oftentimes are looked at as a lot of more aggressive. The white patient can do the exact same thing, cuss them out, be violent, anything. But the black patients are, we got to get them out of here as soon as possible.
Is there a justifying reason for that?
Like it's just inherent. It's systematic. Like these new nurses sometimes that we get haven't been in this field ever in their life. But they'll get a white patient and they'll spend more time with the white patient, give them more leeway, give them more excuses. Black patient does the exact same thing. They'll try to get them out as soon as possible.
I got a personal experience. Can I share?
Go ahead.
I drive down the highway. I come to a stop sign or something on 71. If I look to my left or the right, 50% chance someone's going to be mugging me, right? There's probably a 0% chance the person mugging me is white, because I've never been mugged by a white person in traffic.
What neighborhood are you in?
I just told you, down 71.
Right.
That's a busy. There's a lot of people go down there for business. All I'm saying is, when I'm driving, I don't think a white person is going to mug me in traffic. But I know if I pull up to the stoplight and there's a black person in there banging some gangster rap, he's going to look over and mug me like, you want something?
So you feel already threatened. You feel like this black person is already mugging you. He might just be looking, But you feel like the demeanor that he's giving you, and that's what I mean. Like these are things that are instilled in white and black people that this black person is aggressive.
That's my personal experience, though. I mean, it hasn't happened in
years.
No,
that's your personal bias.
No, this is real. Okay, maybe.
Right.
Yeah. But why is that there? Because I didn't teach myself that.
Because this is what you are. This is what you see. When black people look at you, it's aggressive. When black people show it's aggressive. It's the demeanor. They could just be looking at you, and you automatically think, "Oh man, let me look straight."
No, I got something.
Okay.
I got something special.
Because I do it all the time. I look at the next car over. It doesn't matter white, black. I just look. I can look. That's my God-given right. Golly. For what? Because I want to look.
Do you look aggressively? Like
I look left or right. And then as soon as I look, they can be looking directly at me. And then they turn their head.
A white person.
I'll be like, golly. Because a black person, they just going to look at me. And then I might do like that. And then not that back. It just depends. I'm telling you.
Bro, that don't sound like real life.
What real life are you living?
I want to know how that thought. I'm glad you pointed it out. How that bias got into my mind. I just can't think about.
It's based off of everything you see, the programming that's put into you, the news channels that say black people are so aggressive. You look and you automatically you feel like when a black woman raises her voice, oh, she's aggressive, she's mean, she's mad. White woman could do the exact same thing, and y'all look at her like, you don't feel like she's aggressive.
Right.
You just feel like she's probably crazy or something like that.
That's what we need to figure out. Why do I have that bias in my mind?
It's how we've been.
I've never thought about it. You know what I'm saying?
It's how we've been portrayed.
But since we're on the topic, I'm thinking, you know what? When I'm driving, I look over, see a white person, they gonna look back real quick. But a black person, he gonna mug me.
He just gonna look at you, like he just looking. Like our inherent thing is like, I'm not turning away because he think that if I turn away, I'm a punk. That's how I think of it. Like,
is it? So you just gonna stay? You just gonna have a stare off?
Yeah, it just depends. If you do like this, I do like that back. You might have just honked at me and got mad because I pulled over in front of you. So I'm gonna look. Okay, you mad? Be mad. I just don't care. Honestly, I don't care.
You gonna instigate a road rage incident?
No, I don't get mad at people when they do stuff on the road. It happens.
I mean, if someone pulls in front of you and stops and gets out their car, like, fuck you doing back there?
You hear what you say? Get out their car. Like,
okay, or
that's different. Like you stopped in front of me, got out your car.
Yeah.
Are you going to stay there or are you coming this way? That's going to determine my next action.
You know what? Now I got to think of any other biases that might have been implanted or
it's a lot
swerved into my mind that I didn't know about.
It's a lot. Like I said, white people can put out gangster movies that are actually true to life and all that, and it's okay. Black people put out rap music that is true to real life, and it's like every black person is like this.
But you know what's weird, man? You knew me growing up. I probably had 1, 2, maybe 3 white friends. Everyone else was not white. And so if I have this bias, I can only imagine what people that have been sheltered from having any kind of interaction or friendship or relationship with someone other than what they are.
But it happens.
How extreme it is.
It's embedded. It's in, like I said, me being a black person, I didn't know white men walked out of their kids' life just as much as black men used to. So that was something that I was like,
is that a thing?
Not no more. Black parents don't walk out of their kids' life like that no more.
White people do though?
Yeah.
White dads?
Yeah. I'm seeing it more, especially when you do the research. Like, black fathers are more active than any other fathers in their kids' life.
Maybe it's always been like that. Now we just figuring out.
No, it ain't.
You sure?
Yeah.
You would know.
I would know. But nowadays, we're changing the narrative. We're changing our narrative, but unfortunately, the media is not changing our narrative along with us.
They're just keeping the same pace of what they're doing.
Right. So we have to work around it. Because nowadays it's the woke community, and black people are grouped into the woke community because what started out as a black movement is now a trans feminist movement.
Talk about a black movement.
White movement, the woke community.
It started out as black.
Yeah. It started out as us, understanding our heritage, our culture, being open. Our third eye is what some people would say is open now. So that's what it used to be woke. Nowadays, the woke culture is more so inclusion in everybody. It's liberalism.
That's the word I was waiting for you to say. Liberals.
It's liberals. So my thing, I'm confused because I don't understand how black men and women allowed for everybody else to steal something that was ours and change it and turn it into something that it is now that's so damaging to especially our community.
You know what happened? That happened with the Black Lives Matter movement too. It started out.
The movement is good, but what people raised money for was horrible. That corporation was horrible, and it gives bad light to what it was supposed to mean. It was supposed to highlight that black people's lives were not taken into account when it came to police brutality, the medical field, everyday in general lifestyle.
To poor Tyre. Listen, man, I try to empathize with him and think of myself in that situation. One, I can't even imagine a police officer asking me to get out of the car. That has never happened to me. I've been pulled over a lot, especially in my younger days, just speeding, no license plate, no insurance card, back windshield gone, passenger endangerment and stuff.
And for black people like me that's been on the other side of it, we would look at that like white privilege. And a lot of white people don't understand that that's a privilege.
I've never been asked to get out the car.
Bro.
If he says get out the car, then I'm like, shit, I'm about to pop this dude in his face.
You see what you say, like you've never been asked, you have all that wrong. You've never been asked to get out the car. I literally had a drop top Mustang. Uh-huh. I put my temp tag in the front. My drop top was down. I got pulled over because my temp tag was in the front instead of in the back. But how are you supposed to see it if my top is down? So I put it in the front so that you would know that I have.
They give you a ticket?
I went to jail.
For what?
Well, I had a suspended license at the time.
So hold on, man. Don't use those stories.
How?
Because there's always a piece that can be discredited for the entire story. I shouldn't have been driving.
You hear what you say? You can have all that wrong, and you're not told to get out the car.
No, I'm not.
I have a tag in the front.
But you got a suspended license, so of course you better
But you have to run it. You have to run it. I don't say that I was right because my license was suspended. Okay. I'm saying that how do I not get pulled over even if I put it in the back? Yeah. You're still going to pull me over. And you're going to pull me over because I'm blacking in a Mustang.
I was going to say that. You got a nice car and you black. And
right.
Like, hold up.
So that's why I'm getting pulled over. I'm not getting pulled over because I'm doing anything wrong. I'm getting pulled over because I'm black and I'm in a Mustang. That's why I'm getting pulled over. That is what we try to highlight. It's not that we did something wrong or didn't do something wrong. It's the fact that if I was Caucasian in that same instance, I wouldn't have got pulled over.
Probably not.
That's what we highlight.
But again, another bias I think that's implanted in minds is if you drive nice cars and you're not white, you're probably doing something illegal or stolen.
Drugs.
Yeah.
And that's my point. Like,
why is that though? That's what we need to figure out. Because if we don't, all the generations.
Because we have this system put in place that creates these biases in white and black people and other people of other cultures' head that this is how we view black people. And so until we change our viewpoint of black people, we have to understand not all black people are this way. Mm-hmm. Not all black people are this way. We have several black people in different positions. Just like if we look at white people, we'd be like, all white people are mass shooters. All white people are
crazy lunatics, Columbine.
SAs or PDOs.
What the fuck is all that? What is an SA?
Sexual assault.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or rapists. Or incestors.
Okay. Now that's something I can agree with you on because
like, and this is
whatever system tells us black people are more of a threat than white people is the same system that puts out the information. You're probably going to get raped by a white person. You're probably going to get drugged and raped by a white person. You're probably going to get shot at school by a white person. It's the same system.
Right. So we have these things. No, but that's...
What do you mean no?
No, because a lot of times we give white people the benefit of the doubt. Like, oh man, he's not like other white people. Like he's not like those white people, or that's just an isolated event. Don't try to group us all into one. But in the black community,
everyone's in one, huh?
We feel like we're traumatized because of white people.
There will never be a fix for that, huh?
It will. Over time.
Because if your daughter and my daughter end up being best friends 30 years down the road, your daughter's not going to be like, I feel unsafe around white people. Unless she has an experience with some,
Right. But her inherent mindset would not be that white people are rapists.
Yeah.
Rapists or sexual assaultists, or that white people are.
Bro, the 80s, 90s, that's a bad era, man.
You got to go back.
That was only 20, 30 years after segregation was ended, though. So it's still kind of new.
It was before then. I think of the 80s, 90s. I think that was a
better era?
Yeah. It was just crack.
60s. In the 60s, segregation was still alive.
Yeah,
I think
50s, 60s was probably the rough time.
That's been over 70 years.
And it's still,
how much time we got to take?
Still here. It's still here. You got to think we went through 400 years.
So we got another 330. Then
we got a good 300.
300 years.
Maybe 250. I give you 250. But that might come from interracial dating.
More Patty Mahomes.
Yeah, more people of mixed culture, mixed heritage.
More people in power that represent
both.
Better.
Yeah. So it might come with that.
Mahomes should run for president.
Listen, go Chiefs. The best team in the league, hands down. Best quarterback ever.
You got something to say else about Tyre?
No. I just feel like when black people tell you about their experiences, that you listen. That you don't judge, that you be open to have a dialogue, conversation.
A lot of people are like, I had never had that experience.
Right, so they feel like it doesn't happen. Or they have a person in their family that's part of the police force and they feel inclined to defend them with all their heart. I'm not like that. Wrong is wrong, right is right. Defend what's right, defend what's wrong. Don't defend what's wrong. That's how it goes.
You know what we need to do? I know a black cop. We could bring him in here. As a guest, we could ask him some questions about the situation.
We can.
Just get an opinion from an actual police officer that's not white. What happened? What is your experience? Because he works in a non-white neighborhood. Down there on Truce.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
He's sheriff.
No. He's Casey Moe.
No, he's sheriff.
Trust. I'm talking about the one that came to the lift weights with us.
He's a sheriff.
Bro.
He's a sheriff.
He asked me to join KCPD. I said, what? No.
Right, but he's a sheriff.
KCPD don't have no sheriffs.
We do have sheriffs.
No, the counties have sheriffs.
Right, but he's a sheriff.
Are you sure?
Yes.
He's a beat cop. He patrols different neighborhoods.
Okay.
Responds to calls.
Ask him.
You sure?
Yeah.
People be exaggerating their...
Maybe.
Their...
Maybe. I could have swore he was a sheriff, though.
I got you.
Yeah.
Listen. Let us know your thoughts on Tyre Nichols. Our thoughts and prayers go out to him, his family. What are your thoughts on racism? Is it systematic? Is it inherited? Is it part
Does
of
it
the
not
environment?
exist to y'all? Do people feel like it don't exist?
That's probably going to be a popular answer.
It don't exist.
That it's not a thing anymore.
I got a white friend. You my only white friend.
You need some more.
No, I don't.
I'm going to bring you to the corporate life. You can meet you some white people. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, we appreciate you watching. Don't forget, check out our podcast, anchor.fm/intoxicated opinions. Like this video, subscribe to our channel. We appreciate your love, your support. Yeah.
Go Chiefs.
You already said that 50 times.
We got to tell them again.